What's up folks, Spencer here. Today we're going to be talking about upgrading React Native versions, specifically to version 0.59 and beyond that. React Native version 0.59 brings in a lot of new changes, specifically hooks, if that's really hot right now. It also brings in some of the stepping stones or the initial groundwork for lean core, which is kind of the new way of managing internally, React Native internally managing all of its various packages and dependencies. And then finally, also it brings out the CLI into a community package. So a bunch of good stuff here. First, we'll talk about all that stuff, but let's get this upgrade going. With React Native version 0.59, React Native is now taking a stand on how you're going to be upgrading React Native. So what we want to do is actually use a tool called React Native or rn diff purge, which I've got pulled up here. There's going to be a link to here in the associated article on React Native School, so you can get all the links I talk about through this video. But with rn diff purge, basically they've created multiple projects that you can use to see what's actually changing in the core of React Native, so you can go ahead and apply that to your project. So what I'll do is just open up one of these compare links, and then basically what we want to do is go from whatever our current version is. So if I look at this project I've got version 0.586 and we want to go to 0.59. So we'll go ahead up to the URL and I'll change the base to 586, and then we can scroll through and we can see all the files that have changed. There's a handful here. Some of them aren't relevant to us. So what we want to do is actually go ahead and apply these changes to our project so that we can go ahead and then install React Native at 0.59. Okay, took me about 7.5 minutes to go ahead and do that upgrade. It is a bit tedious, but it is beneficial. And why it's really important to upgrade to 0.59 is because of what's included. One, there's hooks. That's hot, that's cool, that's new, whatever. That's kind of a given one. But another cool thing is the CLI with React Native is now pulled out of core, which means it can now be developed independently. And this is a big deal because Facebook, who has kind of the ultimate say over the React Native repository, didn't use the CLI internally. So some of those issues and features kind of stagnated. They just weren't prioritized in reviewing and testing and all that. But now as a community package, we can now develop that independently, which is awesome for us. Another big change, and something that I want to get onto at the beginning rather than later, is a handful of core packages are now being moved out of core into the community so that they can be developed independently and they can kind of move at a slightly faster pace. And it makes the React Native core a bit smaller, and it also makes managing these community packages easier because they're a lot smaller. They're a lot easier to actually kind of grasp what's going on. So with that, if we actually look at the application I've got here, and I'll close this out, open up my main app.js file. If I actually go ahead and press this get, what we're going to see if I refresh the app is we get our values. It all works the same, but we've got this new warning down here saying, warning, async storage has been extracted from React Native core, which is what I was talking about. There's a handful of packages. I've got a link to all the packages that have been affected on the React Native School tutorial that goes along with this video. And what we can do to actually fix this, it's really, really easy. Actually, I'll preface changes to say it's just been deprecated and extracted from core for the future. This warning right now is just saying in the future it's going to be removed. Your code's going to continue to work in 0.59, but I highly, highly encourage you to go ahead, get ahead of the curve and start migrating your code to these new community packages. That way, when it is removed, you don't have a dozen upgrades you have to make in addition to React Native when that time comes. So to do the upgrade, it's very, very easy. Again, I've got links on all of the other things that you'll want to do in there, but all we have to do is say, I'm just going to copy this, but we can go to our terminal. We're going to say yarn add at React Native community, which is kind of the official community React Native packages / async storage, because that's what we're interacting with and throwing that error. I'll go ahead, install it like any other NPM package. And then once that's done, like normal, since there are native dependencies, async storage has those native dependencies. Everything that's been extracted has native dependencies. You're going to want to say at React Native link, React Native link at React Native community / async storage. Okay, with that, it'll go ahead and do all of its magic linking for us. And the migration's really easy. Now, it can be a bit tedious because you can have multiple instances of async storage, but that's really all you have to do. Delete the import from React Native, and then go ahead and paste import async storage from React Native community / async storage. This upgrade can be a bit tedious, especially using rn-diff purge for the first time, instead of like something like React Native git upgrade, which was nice, but it has been a broken tool for a while. But if you take on these slightly tedious tasks, then I think you could do an upgrade in a relatively large-sized application in an hour or two. If you do that now, you're going to get the benefit of React Native upgrade, which is a new command based on rn-diff purge to kind of make upgrades easier in the future. And you're kind of benefiting from all these changes to React Native. There's even more big changes like on Android to React Native 059. So again, I'm going to have a link in the associated tutorial with this. I encourage you to read into it. But really, these are the core changes you're going to have to make in your React Native application right now to take all these benefits. So actually, let's save this really quick, refresh the app, and I'll show you. Okay, I won't show you because I would actually need to restart the packager because I've got that native change. But all you've got to do that upgrade, spend 10 minutes with rn-diff purge, upgrading your React Native version, and then go ahead and migrate those extracted packages from React Native Core to the new community iteration of it so that you're all future-proofed and ready to go with these new versions of React Native, and you can really benefit from Lean Core and all the other awesome stuff going on in React Native. So if you've got any questions, be sure to consult the tutorial that goes along with it, video or link in the description, and I'll see you in the next one.